All right, time once again for another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, on demand as well, and also on their Facebook page. Good morning, Facebook. Of course, we're streaming on the Relevant app. Good morning, Relevant. How you doing? Great to have you out here and with us here inside the 1010XL podcast studios. Of course, Relevant, the broadcasting app, the podcasting app, the group messaging chat app. It's a great app to connect with people on similar interests and likes, including your Jaguars. Yeah, go to the Jaguar Fanatics channel and join us. Always great. We got podcasts throughout. Always, it's fun interactively chatting during the game. You know, I get on the app and I'm going back and forth just with plays and whatnot. But of course, your Jacksonville Jaguars drop another one. Now 5 in a row, 2-6 on the year. Almost halfway through. Of course, they go to Denver, lose to Denver in London. London trip, hey, you know what? Packed house. Good for London. Good for the NFL. I mean, they do turn out for the NFL, especially for their Jags. Both needed the W. Jags had a chance to win it again. Another woulda, shoulda, coulda, but didn't. And we'll go through it. Look, I do want to say something real quick. I'm not going to say a lot about it, but whoever's responsible for these anti-Semitic messages in our great city of Jacksonville, I hope they find you and you get reprimanded, because it's just uncalled for. I mean, seriously, in 2022, almost 2023, we're still dealing with that. And that goes for everything. Racism, anti-Semitism. I don't give a crap. Just let's stop, man. It's better to be peaceful and get along. It's better. You're right? It's just better. So let's be better. I mean, I got Jewish friends. I got black friends. I got Asian friends. I got Filipino friends. White friends. I got rich friends. I got not so rich friends. I mean, who cares? They're all good people. And we don't believe the same stuff. We don't vote the same way. It's all good. Anyway. Spend some time in a locker room. That'll get you acclimated. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get back into the Jags. Sorry about my voice. The Dad Bods performed Saturday night at a private Halloween party. Awesome time right there on the Intercoastal. Just phenomenal. Want to thank Curtis and Kelly Englert and their entire family. Great family. Just so much fun. Rock and roll, hoochie coo.
How dare you? Don't ever apologize for jamming too hard.
Oh, no. Well, the voice, it's a little rusty, raspy still.
I think
we got after it.
I think all our listeners would agree that if it means you're jamming out,
yeah,
it's okay.
Oh, no doubt.
Every Tuesday.
I'm not apologizing.
Well worth it.
Yeah, without question. All right, so let's get into the Jags. Believe it or not, I'm going to start with the positives and it's not silver linings. I just feel that some guys, some units need to be recognized for playing pretty darn well throughout the game. Of course, I'm going to start with ETN. What a beast. Now, that kid takes some shots at the end of his runs. Those safeties coming in, those DBs coming in, just killing them, gets right up. I mean, I'm so impressed with his toughness inside. I mean, he's a tough dude, man. Obviously, he's got great talent, great speed. Look, you know what? He's their guy. So the trade makes sense. It does, although maybe we use James. But the thing with James, he wouldn't have been used enough. He'd been unhappy, I think, over time. Maybe they use him in short yardage and goal line and spell. But anyway, that's old news. But ETN, awesome job. The O-line, I mean, played well enough to win, get after people. I love the attitude. I think overall, I mean, think about this, Graham, and everyone out there. Beginning of the year, what was the biggest concern? I know what mine was. It's the offensive line. What's one of my least concerns right now? It's the offensive line. I mean, it's just wild how that has worked out. Now, they still commit, mistakes at crucial times, which obviously you got to minimize. But they get after people. I like a rough and tumble type O-line. I think our O-line is starting to show that, and we got to use that. We got to really rally behind that if we want to get some victories next 9 games.
It's really amazing because through the last 3 years, going back to week 1 of 2020 up until now.
Yep.
Across 3 different coaching staffs.
Yep.
Across 3 different coaching staffs, a couple of moving pieces on the line. You change centers because your center retired. A couple different things.
I like him.
Through all 3 of those years, you've had 3 damn good run blocking offensive lines.
Yep.
And it seems like 2020 they were willing to run the ball. They weren't good enough anywhere to win that year anyway. It didn't really matter. But it seems like between this year and last year, you have a coaching staff that's unwilling to run the ball enough.
No, I think part of that, and
I don't understand that. When you're running at such an efficient clip.
I'll tell you why. To me, it feels like they are continually trying to prove that their number 1 pick at the QB, Trevor Lawrence, is the guy. And we're going to make him be the guy, and he's going to be the guy. I mean, I don't get it either. What's the strength of the team right now? It's ETN, and it's the running game.
And it's not even close.
It's not even close. But I will say this. We'll get into more of the positives because there's more. Trevor's best throws, and most quarterbacks overall are in between the numbers. Not outside, not deep out. He's terrible at the deep outside.
Really bad.
Okay. He's not so good at the out pattern, but on occasion he puts it in the right spot. That second pick, the ball was he can't throw it on the inside. It's an out route. Think about it like from just logically. An out route, you throw it on the inside. No, why am I throwing on the inside of an out route? You throw it on the outside of an out route. The guy made a great play. There's no doubt about it. So did Simmons. We'll get to that on the pick in the end zone. But
that DB is going to always be trailing the receiver on an out route.
Oh, no doubt.
So if you throw behind him, you may as well just hand the ball to the defense.
And it does happen. It's not just to Trevor. It happens to other quarterbacks. But that was bad. But we'll get into that. But what's working right now is the run game. And look, by the way, and I got it in my notes. The throw to Ingram for the first touchdown was a dime. That was a great throw.
Beautiful throw.
It was great. So physically, he's got the tools, right? But there's something not there. And we'll get into it in just a minute. Let me get back to the positives. So I love the O-line. I'm saying keep him. Try to keep him. Don't trade him. Don't trade Jawan Taylor. Don't. Figure it out at the end of the year. Maybe you got to pay him the money you got to pay him. I don't care. But there's something about keeping your O-line together. Fortner's he's a great find. Sheriff, great. I mean, they're all playing pretty darn well overall. So
isn't it weird how
give them that?
Isn't it weird how the Jaguars are a classic example? The Lions, teams that are typically always bad.
Yep.
There's certain positions though that they just get right.
Yeah.
It seems like the Jaguars always get center right.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Well, think about it. You got Meester, you had Wydell, Cheever, Meester, New Year. Wade was a good center.
Linder
was a great center.
And it looks like you just got your center for the next decade.
Yeah, he's good. I like him a lot.
It's just interesting. And running back too. The Jaguars always have a good. It
is. I got a question about running back in a little bit, but yeah, no, I agree. I think the O-line is good there. Look, the run defense overall did their job. Ingram had a nice day, and I'll single out a few guys on defense. Rayshawn Jenkins had a nice day overall. Tyson Campbell, he's a stud. And it's funny, like even his rookie year, you're like, you know what? He's never beat. He's just not turning around to look at the ball. He was always right there, and we would say that a lot. So he's really having a good year. And I'm going to look, Dwayne Smoot. He needs his own chant at home games. Remember the old Schmingy chant after Joel Schmingy? Schming. We need a Smoot. That guy makes plays. He gets after it. Him and Arden Key, they need more time, in my opinion. Smoot's big enough to play the run. He's very good. I just love gritty players, man. I just love him. He's a gritty player, no doubt about it. So those were the positives. Throw the kicker, bone, whatever. Nice kicks. But. Yeah, and the punter, Cook's pretty good. He's one of the best punters.
But hey, if they weren't making him, we'd say, "What the hell?"
No, you're
this
right.
Guy?
That's right. So I'll throw them in there. I got to add those guys, and I will next time. Now, look, what cost the game, and aside from the poor play of our quarterback, the Broncos made some adjustments at halftime. This is what happens. No matter what game I'm watching, I mean, obviously you don't want to get too carried away, falling behind in the first half, but that the halftime adjustments is what wins games for teams. They figure out. So what did the Broncos figure out? We can hurt them how? We can hurt them with our tight end, the kid out of UCL, Dulcich, right? He's got speed. Let's get him on the right matchup.
Us, man.
What they do that 90, it was 2 drives. That's all. It was 2 drives. The 98-yard drive, and then I think it was like an 80-yard drive. And the way and then they targeted Hamler, right? Hey, let's get him down the field. I think we can beat him. Let's get him on Herndon, not on Campbell, on the other guy. Say, right now, let's take our shot. So they make these adjustments. Okay, you may be surprised. The tight end on the 98-yard drive, that one down the right side, right? I think that was his first long gain. Then what? I mean, then he's open even more. Like, why aren't we adjusting to that? Why aren't we making sure that he's a priority? These are the adjustments that we don't seem to make that other team. And I'm not just talking this year. It seems like even with Marone was here, I can remember Todd Washington. I'm just like, man, you got to change it up. If he would only send 4, I'd be like, they're not getting there. Like, if they're not getting there, you got to send more. Send more. You can't let I don't care what defense you're playing in the backside or the back end. Those quarterbacks are too good. If you don't rattle them, if you don't get in their face, if you don't disrupt that timing, they'll pick you apart. I mean, that's the end of the day. That's what happens. So, I mean, look, why our defense is, and it's almost every game now, they're letting us down in the second half. And why is that? Is it lack of focus? Are they tired? I mean, those are long drives. I get it. But, hey, your job is to be in shape, condition. That's your job. I don't want to, they're on the field too long. I don't care how many times. You got to be in such great condition that you can handle anything on that field. That's your job. That's what the NFL is all about. You can give a little bit of, an inch on that, okay, they 15-yard play drive, but we hold them to a field goal, and then our team goes 3 and out, and then they're back out for another 12. Okay, I get that. But at the end of the day, your job is to win the game when you have a lead. And they've had leads, and just like right down the field. You're shutting down the run. Next thing you know, here comes Murray with a 10-yarder. Here comes, Russell getting out of Dodge and nobody on him, just getting 15, 17 yards. I mean, you look at it statistically, it wasn't like they kicked a crap. They didn't. I mean, it was right there. Now, the quarterback play was a big factor. Wasn't the only factor, but it was a big factor. But again, it's all about the team, and part of that team is, okay, maybe your quarterback is struggling, but when we have a lead, we got to hold the lead. That's our job. Now, if he throws a pick or they fumble, then what's our job? Hold them to 3, sudden change. I mean, these are the jobs, right? And if you don't get the job done, then it's a negative. It's a failure. You didn't do your job.
The Broncos would be 0-8 if it weren't for that.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's what's expected, right? Hey, guys, I know you just came off the field after a 10-play drive. You held them to a field goal. Nice bend, don't break. I'm sorry, but your quarterback just got sacked and he dropped the ball, and now they have the ball in their own 25-yard line. You got to go back out there and hold them to a field goal. Okay, let's go. I guess that's what we have to do then, right? The good teams get those things done. Not always, but they get those things done. So something is missing, I think, collectively on the team, and not everybody, of course. Like the old line, I would probably extract them out of that. But that seems to be the problem, even at quarterback. Our quarterback, like I said, that throw to Ingram was a damn dime. It was beautiful. And then you look at some other throws, you're like, what the heck? Yeah, look, and we're going to get into Trevor. I'll do it pretty soon. The play calling. First and goal on the 1, and you're rolling out. Does anybody tell the kid, hey, if it's not there, don't force it? I mean, just like, I know you do. Is he not listening? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's something missing. What?
I don't have a problem with that play call because.
Oh, yeah, but the thing is what? Only throw it if it's there.
Correct.
Period.
100%.
It's first down. You don't have to force it. We got another down. Live another down.
And I have to assume that a guy like Doug Peterson, who has developed a young QB before, who played QB in the league, who won a Super Bowl, I have to believe he's telling him that.
Well, okay, but he's also telling him something different, because yesterday in his press conference, Trevor says, well, it wasn't a bad decision. It was a bad throw. Somebody is saying that.
Right.
Or because if he's saying that and nobody's like saying, wait a minute, Trev, not only was a bad decision, it was also a bad throw because 31's right in front of you. How did you not see him?
Right.
I mean, he's right there. And by the way, in the replay, you can see the guy's trailing. There's another guy right there. You'd have forced the ball anyway. I don't know, man. I don't like that coming out of his mouth. And I don't either. He's young. Look, whatever. But he's done it more than once. I mean, what did he say 3-4 weeks ago? Anybody can tell that we're a good football team. You're like, what? You've won like 2 games.
Yeah.
Against teams that were depleted. I mean, you kicked the crap out of them, don't get me wrong, but keep it in perspective, man. We're a good team. Even the coach says we're a good team. I don't know. I just don't like that if you're not going to back it up. Like, you're not. You're 2-6. We're close. Well, you're not close enough, And this one score stuff, you could go all throughout time, and you'll see one score stuff.
Yes.
I mean, Coughlin in his last year got fired after a 6-10 season. 4 games worth 3 points or less. 4 of them. If he goes 8-8, they probably don't fire him. If he goes 10-6 and goes to play, they're not firing him. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, they were 6-10.
The NFL produces close games.
Whatever.
We talked about this last week, and then I was thinking about it again because
except last night.
Well, when the Jags game ended, obviously it ended early, so I watched the red zone to watch the rest of the games.
Yeah.
Just like we said last week.
Yep.
Any given Sunday, when most of the games start at 1, check back in at around 4.
Yep.
And check all the scores.
Yeah. They're normally pretty tight.
85% of them are going to be one score.
Yep.
Yesterday, because Scott Hansen was like talking about on the red zone, he's like, there's like 5-ish minutes left in each game.
Yep.
He's like, every game is one score right now.
Yeah. Which makes an exciting game.
Yes,
and that's
100%.
what the NFL wants. So, I mean, look, again, we had chances, so we're not getting it done. Look, we did some good things. We were really good in third down. I mean, not on offense, but on defense. Broncos were 2-11 on third down. That's wicked good. That's less than 20%. Fourth down, they were 2 of 3. That's not good because that's like 67%. So that's not. And the Broncos had 12 penalties. I mean, you think about drive extending penalties that they had that helped us. You know what I mean? Like, they helped us a lot. Simmons, by the way, the taunting. Let me say this about the NFL. Let the guy celebrate in the end zone.
That was such a bad call.
You don't make you're not allowed to. This is what I think, in my opinion. In the field of play, you can't take the helmet off. Big sack, big hit, none of that, right? But you score a touchdown, and clearly you scored a touchdown. You should be able to take your helmet off in the end zone. Why can't you celebrate like that? What's the big freaking deal? You know what I mean? No, you can separate. You can say, well, look, big sack. No, I don't want you to take your helmet off. Right? No, it's in the field of play. This is in the end zone. I guess once you're in the end zone, the play's over, right? It's a touchdown. I think that's stupid, and I think taunting's stupid. I mean, what? Okay, what are you saying so bad about your mother, your wife? Okay, if it gets really vile, okay, but to sit there and be like, yeah, just knocked you on your ass, whatever.
That's football.
It's football. Like, why? What's the big deal? Whatever. I think it's happening all over the league. I mean, it is. It's like, it's just, I don't know. I think the taunting's fun.
I do too.
Part of the game. You don't want me to taunt you? Well, then stop me.
To your point, it's just like when someone scores, celebrate.
Celebrate it, man.
I hate that in college they like throw the flag almost immediately for celebration.
By the way, how come you can't do that? But when you make a pick, whether you score a touchdown or not, you can run to the end zone.
And everybody can go take a picture.
Take a picture. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. You know, but you can't do that. I don't know. It's just whack to me. All right, let's get into Let's get into the quarterback. So obviously, he didn't have a good day. He hasn't had some good days. It hasn't all been awful. So, look, it's too early to say one way or the other whether this kid is going to be it or not. Can we knock it off like it's not one way or the other, okay? And in defense of him, the label I had really high expectations for him, extremely high like everybody else. Why? Because of the hype. Now, he would have been the number one pick regardless who picked him. He would have. I doubt anybody would have chosen anybody else. They all thought he's got everything. And physically, you believe that he does. But something is not working. I don't know. Because forget about the awareness for a second. The routine throws that he's missing is an eye-opener. Because as starting quarterbacks in the NFL especially, a routine throw is what? Guy's open, I have time. Think about that. I have time to make my full throw, and my guy's open. He's got to step, he's got to create whatever he has. Those are routine throws. Those quick slants, those quick outs, the deep comeback, the dig across, even down the field. No, I wouldn't call that. The bomb's a routine. But the intermediary throws, which, by the way, he's very good inside the numbers with those intermediary throws. He is. He hits that dig beautifully pretty much every single time. Anything over that middle, he seems to be right out. And I'm not saying you take all the outside throws out, but I would limit them, in my opinion. Because to me, I drop back. My receiver, I could be on the far hash. I don't care, right? On the far side. I have the arm. He's open on an out route. Where do I put it? Right on the outside. Hand, right? Even, we've talked about this before, Graham, too. Even on completions, he's not always in the right spot. There's a ball placement on every route, every single route, where the ball needs to go. Doesn't always go. And yes, your receiver has to bail you out from time to time. But the idea is to put the ball in the spot, not only where he can catch it, but where he can make a play. So if I'm running across the field and I got all my momentum going this way and I got to go, or I got to stop and sit down so I can catch the ball, you're not giving me the opportunity to catch that ball, whatever, and make a play. And it happens way too often, in my opinion. Now, I threw a stat out there, or I copied and pasted a stat out there that was on ESPN. They were ranking they were assessing all the second-year quarterbacks. And I don't have insider. I was surprised they gave you so much of the article because what I read was on Trevor, and that's all I really cared about. And out of the last 5 games, he's missed 21% of his targets. That's on 166 attempts. I added them up. Think about that. 20%. That's 32 passes that he's been off target. That's big. Think about how much yardage that is, how many first downs that is, how many possible touchdowns.
And then take that and make that a 30,000-foot view.
Yeah.
You're losing games by 1 score.
And I'll be surprised. I thought my eye test didn't have it that high, but it's too much. I mean, it's just got to be better. So
but think about it. You've missed 30. If he makes 10 more,
that might be the score.
Maybe they've won 3 of those games. You know what I mean?
No.
Maybe totally. One of those drives where they got stopped on 3rd and 5.
And that is valid and accurate, but being a team game, you can also put the blame on the defense for not holding up their end of the bargain too. And I'm going to say equally. You have a lead. Defense ain't young. They got a couple young players.
Spoken like a true linebacker.
You have a lead. Your job's to hold the lead. Period. So you failed just as much as your quarterbacks failed, in my opinion. And I'm sure Doug's saying that, and he should be, in my opinion. But that's one thing that, and I don't know if he's like, sometimes you got to throw it to the spot, not to the man. You're saying the man's going to get to the spot, right? You see it all the time, right? Those deep outs, when do they throw the ball? Before they break sometimes, right? And they're throwing it to a spot. Why? Because I know he's going to drop that foot into the ground at that precise time and go outside, and the ball's going to be there waiting for him. So is he not anticipating? Is he throwing it too late? Is his mechanics off where he's not? I don't know if you watched Countdown last night. And RG3 is a good analyst. I like him, and he's got a good presentation. And he was showing, who was he showing? It was a kid, Hertz from Philly, on when he throws the ball and how it all lines up. The hip, the forward movement, the shoulder, and the follow through. And he was dead on, right? I mean, every throw should be like that. Now, granted, if you're under duress, you can't step into throws, and that happens. But when you do, you have that time, and you're able to, and your guy's open, you make the throw. That's routine. That's not special. That's not extra credit. That's not anything. That's your job. Your job's to hit the guy when he's open. So I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's his mechanics are off. I don't like, sometimes he throws this, I like it from here. It just comes out quicker. Sometimes it, drops a tiny bit. I don't know. Check it out. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
I don't know the first thing about mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. I will say that there's a lot of throws that Trevor makes that almost feels like he's shooting a floater in basketball.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of just running and it's kind of just like a...
to me, it's more like he's this wild horse because he'll make that great throw. And then I told you when I was at the Texas game, simple routine out pattern. He sails it 100 miles. I mean, it was humming. I was 5 rows up. I was like, wow. But it was so high, uncatchable. No, I think it went over the sideline, over most guys. So it's not harnessed. What I mean?
That's what mechanics.
It's not harnessed, right? It's got to be something that. Why would he? How can you be so far off on one throw and then make a beautiful throw?
I think it's because this is just I don't know the first thing about mechanics. I'm just
something's off. Something's missing.
It feels like, first, it definitely feels like his mechanics are off. It's not the same every time.
Yeah.
And also, this might be unfair, but to me, it seems like he's always been so damn good that having perfect mechanics has never been a huge deal.
He's never needed them.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you say that too. And maybe it's just, and it's not at all the young generation, but when he gets up there and says, no, it was actually a good, it wasn't the decision, just a bad throw, you're like, Trev, you better be looking in the mirror a little bit harder than that. I know you say you are, but you better be doing that. I don't know. We'll get in that in just a second. We are going to wrap up here in a few minutes, but okay. So the routine stuff bothers me. The awareness, okay. It falls to the player. The player has to be aware, right? It does. But the coach has got to make sure he's aware. And I got to believe as they're making the call on 1st and goal, which was aided by the taunting or whatever, holding. I think there was an interference or holding call, which
there was
is
a
fine.
holding and a pass interference.
Right, that's right. So great. That helps us. We're close. We're on you can't get closer to the end zone on where we were, 1st and 1. Okay, you want to, roll. I wouldn't have called that play, but I'm not the offensive coordinator. But I do know this. The message is this. Trevor, if it's not there, don't force it. It's only 1st down. Throw it away, run out of bounds, whatever. Don't force it, right? He's got to know that. He's got to know that before the snap. That's got to be in it. Hey, man, don't force it. It's 1st down. We'll be good. Got it. Now who's it up to? It's up to him. And for whatever reason, he did it against the Texans. Now, that was a 1st down, but still a poor decision. Sometimes you got to live another down. And by the way, sometimes that down is 4th down and you get a field goal. Think about that. I know everybody wants, he does too. I want to score. I want to throw a touch. Sometimes the best decision is to know, let it be 4th down. Let my field goal kicker come in and get us 3. Am I pissed off? Yes. Am I disappointed? Yes. But at least we got 3. And that I will, the awareness part, I'll give him a little slack because he's still young in the game. But I am surprised that he did what he did on 1st down. It was 1st down. Come on. And how he must have tunnel vision because you're watching a replay. Simmons, BC guy, by the way, man, what a great player he is. He's just tracking him. He's just, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't play quarterback, so maybe you do get tunnel vision in that regard. But he's got to be better at that. Too many mistakes. We all know it. You can't throw picks in the red zone or the end zone especially. But so they got to figure that out. I don't know why they don't give it. I mean, I would, and here's, wasn't Snoop Connor like Mr. Touchdown at Ole Miss? Do we not want to put him in the end zone?
It's weird.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think Travis is tough enough to be that guy. I don't think, look, backer, first of all, if a defensive tackle meets you in the hole, I don't care what running back you are, you're getting tackled. He's just going to tackle you. Most linebackers that come up and fill the hole, you're not running them over. You may knock them back, they may not knock you over. They may, you may go sideways, but it's not like you're just, there's no Christian Okoye coming through them. I saw the hole is what I'm getting at.
I saw some tweets about how we missed James Robinson in the short yardage. I don't agree with that. I tend to think that unless you have like a Derrick Henry, where like that's a different thing.
You know what? He would be a guy that you got to get him early though.
But outside of that, I think for the most part, any given back in short yardage is going to score or not based on how it's blocked up. Right? I mean, you never see on the goal line a guy gets bottled up 2 yards in the backfield and then he just pushes everybody. That's pretty rare.
I mean, there's no Earl Campbell's anymore.
Yeah, you're scoring or not. Henry, but based on how it's blocked up, you're scoring or not. For the most part.
True. We saw it last night with Cleveland, what they did on the goal line. All right, so let me real quick, the trade deadlines today. I'm not trading Josh Allen unless you get a first rounder, which I don't think you'll get. I wouldn't pay a first rounder for him. I don't know what you're going to do with him at the end. You do have his option year, so he can just roll into that. You still have him. He's got a lot more to prove. I don't think he's been as bad. He does disappear a lot of it from time to time. But I'm not trading him. I'm going to keep him and develop him even further. I could understand if Marvin Jones, if they come with you're not going to keep him after this year, especially after a down year and, as a team. I wouldn't think, or maybe you can sign him to a one-year deal. He's been playing for a long time. Who knows if he wants to continue playing? He looks like he can still play at a high level. This whole the Jags need a true number 1X. Look, every offense does, but let's be honest here. After what we saw out of the offense against Indianapolis, against the Chargers, we had no problem with our receiving core. We actually thought they were great. We actually were scoffing at the NFL for how dare they say we overpaid for Christian Kirk. Look at us now. They added speed. Ridiculous. All I hear is Zay Jones can fly. Well, if Zay Jones can fly, why isn't he flying? Christian Kirk, he can't fly, but he's quick. And that's what Zay clears him out. Kirk comes underneath. It works. I think the problem is, I don't care what you have as an ex-receiver, because one of the worst throws Trevor makes is the deep out. He's not consistent with it. He's just not. Now, deep dig over the middle, all day long. Do it all day long. Can't do it all day long, but I get it. So everyone's talking about nobody gets separation, nobody goes deep. Well, hey, why aren't they? All they did was increase the speed. Ingram's fast as anybody out there. He flies. And he's a mismatch problem. But you got to hit him. Hit him with that nice one. Also overthrew him.
You're not really going to find faster tight ends than Ingram.
I know. We need a number one. Everyone needs a number one. Who doesn't want to chase, right? Who doesn't? Of course, everyone does. But do you need one to win consistently? Other than Randy Moss, and I hate doing this because there goes the Brady example.
Well, Brady, he's had Mike Evans since he's been in Tampa.
In Tampa, no doubt.
I mean, Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl without a wide receiver one. He threw for 500 yards in the Super Bowl.
He did.
So,
I Look, I don't know Doug that well. I don't know him at all, really, other than what I've been told. I like him. I think he's the right guy. So, and by the way, I think Trevor's the right guy, but you got to hone him in. And I don't know how it's done, right? I'm not inside the building. Does Doug and his staff, do they get on the guys? Do they hold them really accountable for their play and their words when they're up in front of the media? I got to think that they do. They don't do it publicly. They don't. They don't get on anybody on the sideline, it never seems like. Definitely not a press conference I'm okay with, as long as it's getting done behind closed doors. Because I'll tell you this, you can be a positive reinforcer. There's nothing wrong. It's great. But if you don't have a principle of consistent, fair, and honest accountability, then that other stuff doesn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Because then it's just sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Well, everything's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Look, I know a lot of people when I said it probably like, oh, gosh, Tom, we're not 30 years ago, but Travon Walker makes a ridiculous penalty against the Texans. Costs them the game. You could say that. Comes over to the sideline. They both pat him on top of his head. Nobody yells at him. Now, okay, you don't have to scream. I get it, but it can't be, it's okay, we'll get him next. It's okay. Hey, Trev, it's okay. It's okay, we'll get him next time. It's okay, I trust you. And I'm not saying you don't trust. I'm not saying that, but there's got to be, I don't know. Again, maybe I'm too old school, but when Trevor gets up there again, first, how good we are. Second, well, no, it wasn't a bad decision. It was a bad throw. You don't say that. You don't say that to the media. You don't say that to your fan base when clearly it was a bad decision. And don't give me this, well, to the blind. Remember, Byron Leftwich used to be notorious for, well, to the blind eye, it looks like it was a bad decision. No, it's football and it's not rocket science. Everyone can tell it's a bad, whether it was a good decision or not. And listen, as a former football player, I'll be the first to admit that it's not rocket science. It's very easy to learn. Yeah, some guys take longer than others, but at the end of the day, you got to know it. So here's my question to the Jacksonville Jaguars players. Are you doing everything you can, not just during when you're there or during practice, but extra to be ready? I don't know that answer. Only you know the answer. But you better be in the book. You better be studying tendencies. You better be working on your craft. You better be working on your body. You better be working on your conditioning all the time. You got to have your rest too, which you get. But the rest of the time should be focused on your job and being the best for 60 minutes. Not, you look at the defense again, good for about what, 2.5 quarters, and then bad, very bad. All right, that'll do it for me this time around. Here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack on 1010XL's podcast platform. The show brought to you by my good friends at Micro Lumix. They've got an awesome, it's just hitting the market now. It's an automatic germ-killing device. No chemicals used, no human intervention, all battery operated, fit over door handles, elevator pads, and latches on the stalls inside those bathrooms where all those nasty germs hang out, killing them with UVC light technology within seconds. It's really, really incredible. Check them out at microlumix.com. That's LUMIX.com. All right, have a great day. Thanks, Relevant, for hanging out. Appreciate you. Check out our app. It's a great app. It's a beautiful thing, man. And get on that Jaguar Fanatics channel and interact with some like-minded fans. RELEVNT on the Apple Store or on Google Play. Until next time, stay safe and be cool out there. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace.